Day of the event. It has finally come. You've put in all the training and you want the day to go as best as possible. Here's my tips for day of the event. This can also just be riding 100 miles in general. My biggest thing, if you're gonna take away nothing else from this video, please take this away. Don't do anything day of that you have not tried in training. Very serious about this, about your equipment, about your nutrition, about what you are wearing, anything. I mean, whatever you can try in training, do that in training before it comes to day of the event. Now that's really big with food. Please test out your nutrition and your strategy for nutrition in training at some point. Try that out because your gut is very sensitive when you are biking, and I've seen a lot of people in these types of events that have an upset stomach, and it's not pretty, it's very painful. So please don't do that. Don't do anything on race day that you haven't done in training. Now that isn't always possible for equipment. If something comes up last minute, just as much as possible, try to adhere to that principle. Another thing that is very key to that is your breakfast in the morning. Day of the event, I really like oatmeal. Carbs are vastly important when it comes to cycling. You can see that in my nutrition video. I'm not gonna get super deep into that right here, but I would look at carbs, either rice, pasta, oatmeal, cereal, Lucky Charms. I'm dead honest when I say Lucky Charms is a great fuel before a big ride like this, okay? It's not something to put in your diet all the time, but before a ride like this, it is a great fueling strategy. I've heard that from some high-end people who really dig into this stuff. Lucky Charms can be great for this. So simple carbs that digest very easily into your stomach, do that. But please test this out on some of your other big rides before you do it. I really love oatmeal, and I'm gonna shoot for 2 to 3 hours before the ride. I'm gonna get that in me, plus coffee. You wanna try to go poop if you can before a ride, because getting that out of your stomach just feels better. You can do it during the ride, whatever, but if you can get it out before the ride, it's very nice, trust me. So if you can get your coffee down, if you like caffeine, get your food in you about 2 to 3 hours so you can let your body digest that food. So now you've come to the start line, your bike is all good to go, and we are at the start. There is a lot of people around. Most people have never biked around that many people. And in that first 10 miles, we start out with a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of crashes at this part of an event. It's very common because a lot of people come together. What happens is their heart rate gets going, their adrenaline gets spiking, there's a lot going on, and it causes crashes. So be very mindful of that in the first 10 miles. Just be mindful of everybody around you. Again, you haven't biked with a lot of these people who are around you now. You don't know what they're gonna do. Just be very safe in the very first part of the race and calm yourself down. Your heart rate is going to spike. Bring it back down. Take some deep breaths. Stay very calm. If you played sports growing up, treat it like the start of a game. Bring yourself to that moment where you calm yourself, collect yourself, and ride calmly and be alert for the first 10 miles of that race. That is probably the most common place for crashes to happen. Also, at the beginning of a ride like this, if you've never done 100 miles before, please take this into consideration. Start slow, pace yourself, okay? The Tour de France is 3 weeks long. Very common thing that they say in the Tour de France every single year. You cannot win the race in stage number 1, stage number 2, but you can very much lose the race. So start slow, pace yourself. Don't take any risks that you don't need to take, because you cannot finish 100 miles in the first 5 miles, right? That's a kind of a stupid statement to say, but you can very much lose riding 100 miles in the first 5 miles if you go down the crash. But also another thing that happens is people's heart rate gets going. Their adrenaline spikes. They're in an event that they've never been in before, and they go harder than they can sustain in that first hour because they see this person going and that person going, and they get behind them and they're like, I'm feeling good, is because they're running off of that high of the event. So please stay calm, start slow. You have 6, 7, 8 hours. You have a long ways to go. You don't want to blow all of your energy in that first hour. Please take that. That is a real thing that happens to people in events. Even in racing, I still make the mistake where I go too hard in the first 20 minutes of a race or something like that, and I put way too much energy into that, and I feel it on the back end, okay? So pace yourself. Start a little bit slow, get faster over time. So with your heart rate going up and getting excited, you forget to do things, and eating and drinking is one of them. Eat often, eat early, okay? Drink often, drink early. Do not wait till you are hungry or thirsty. It is too late at that point. So for an event like this, I'm gonna try to drink every 5, 10 minutes, something like that, take a swig of it. Whatever works for you, but drink early, drink often. When it comes to eating, maybe every 20 minutes, I'm gonna eat a gel or to eat some kind of food, something like that. Eat early, eat often. And in that first hour, it's important to get down food. Stick to your fueling strategy for the race. Eat early, eat often, drink early, drink often. It's very important to get that food in you so you are never depleted. In a separate video, we've talked about safety and riding in a group. There are going to be people that join your group. You're probably going to be riding with the Fathers for Fatherless guys that you've trained with so you know them. You're riding with new people, and be very heads up when you are riding with new people. Over communicate as best as possible. Just be very vocal. Tell people around you what you are doing. Be mindful of the people behind you. Don't all of a sudden come to a stop. You are riding with people that you don't necessarily know because they're going to join throughout the ride. Extra vigilant with people that you don't know. This is very important in the first 10 miles of the ride, of course, but it's also important in mile 50 and 60. When you're starting to get a little bit fatigued and your brain isn't working the exact same, just be extra mindful and think about it, being safer around new people that you don't know. Lastly, have some fun. Make sure you are having fun out there. Take some pictures when it's safe. Enjoy talking with people that you're meeting for the first time. We're there to spread joy. We're there to spread a message about fathers for fatherless. So also keep that mindful. Like I said, you prep everything the night before a race. You can also prep what you're gonna tell people about fathers for fatherless. What's that one-liner for it? Like Jeff and that team can definitely give you better tips from that standpoint, and to be a light and joy. So also keep that in mind. Prep that the night before on what you're gonna say. Start talking to people and practice it. Again, we're practicing everything else for this ride. Practice as well the message that we are trying to spread. Go out and have fun. I hope you absolutely crush